Okay, so I'm here with my good friend Gayle for another series of Charlotte comedians getting coffee in Charlotte.
Yes. Thank you for having me, Nicole.
Yeah, of course. So tell me, what did you get?
We have a oat milk latte with an extra shot of espresso because I need to go low on sugar, high on caffeine, and it's also full of the tears of my enemies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it. Love that so much.
They've been losing.
I love it. So we're at Giddy Goat, and I know that we go to a lot of different coffee shops around Charlotte, but what do you like the most about Giddy Goat?
Man, they got a burrito that'll knock your tits off. I love their burrito, their breakfast burrito. It's emotional for me too. I used to live a couple blocks from here.
Okay.
And I would come here after being hungover and sad and feeling dumped, and would sit alone with my little burrito and my little coffee, and I would feel better just enjoying the ambiance. The art is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have some good memories here of my friends performing, like you, and seeing my friends do music up here.
Yeah.
They've done yoga up here. They've done salsa classes, and I just really admire that. It's more of a community space than just a coffee shop.
Yeah, I do love how dialed in they are to like the Charlotte community. I think that's really cute. Gayle, tell me about yourself. Introduce yourself to the camera if that's all right.
Hi, my name is Gayle Murray. Online, I'm the Gayle Gatsby. I even had someone come up to me confidently and be like, "Your last name's Gatsby, right?" And I'm like, "No, it's a word. It's a play on. Never mind." Like, no, never mind. It's Gayle Murray, and I've been doing stand-up for 10 years. It's my fave. I started in Memphis. I moved to Michigan and did it a little bit there, and then I moved down to Charlotte. I've been doing here 6 years.
Nice.
It's been real good to me.
Is there a favorite mic that you have in Charlotte? Like, I know we've got open mics everywhere now.
Well, is it shitty to say my mic is not even my favorite mic? I'm like, Stu's Barrel House every Wednesday. That's not my favorite. I just need to plug my own mic.
Hell yeah.
I really like Kayla's mic on Tuesdays.
I do too.
Yeah. And a good Royal Tot every other Sunday. I like to do new material there with Kaya and Angie. I just named the women.
Yes, I love that.
If a woman's running it, I'll be there.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, on that note, I did want to ask, being a woman in comedy, we're inherently like minorities, right? Like less than 30% of stand-up comedians are women. From your perspective, like how has that maybe like affected or impacted your approach to writing or your approach to the shows that you say yes or no to?
I'm really glad you asked, because when I started, I considered quitting because of how hard it is. I wasn't getting a lot of laughs. I wasn't very confident. It's so funny how you joke that I have so much stage presence. I did not start there. I had to learn it. Improv was a big way I learned it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't doing very good, in my opinion. I wasn't getting big laughs. I wasn't getting a big applause breaks, or even my jokes weren't breathing. People didn't seem to be really listening. But I had women coming up after I did stand-up, and they would just say, "Thank you so much for doing this. You're the only one I liked. I'm so glad we had a woman up there. Just keep it up." And I told myself I have to keep going for the bitches.
Straight up.
Yeah.
That's my mantra too.
Yeah,
100%.
like that's because, and then it got better. And then a lot more minorities like me as well. And it feels really good to do well in spaces where I've learned to entertain non-white spaces.
Yeah.
And that I think has been huge for me.
Yeah.
Like adventuring outside of the terrible suburbia I was raised.
Yeah,
And seeing what the rest of the world is like. And it's my favorite thing to do. It's been eye-opening.
Yeah, absolutely. On that note of like entertaining in non-white spaces, the dynamic of a room is going to be so entirely different based on like what audience you're facing and things. What would you say is like one of the biggest takeaways you've learned from being in a room that maybe feels a little bit outside of your comfort zone, whether it's like a non-white audience or it's like a very conservative audience?
Yes, that was my hardest thing, is learning how to perform for like people wearing "Make America Great Again" hats.
Yeah,
but I've learned to do it.
Yeah,
because they weren't heckling. It was an audience that was not heckling me. They were not causing a problem. They were just listening, and I felt bad. Like I feel like no matter who's listening listening to me, they should laugh when I'm working. And so I learned to do jokes about how obviously liberal I look. And be like, yeah, I know. And then I do self-deprecating jokes about my own. Like, I do a joke where it's like, I have to go to a library. I need a free place to sit down. Guess what? Republicans love that joke.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
And I've written about being an underpaid worker, and people really tune into that. Like, that's where I've learned what kind of material I got to do. And here's the thing, like, a lot of people that come to comedy want to hear a different perspective. And you have to be kind of open-minded in some kind of way, in my opinion, to come. It's not ideal, though.
Right.
But if you want to know, it's local comedy, though. Who's coming to your show?
Yeah, I've noticed that your audience is a really interesting little slice or sample of like what your city makeup is. You know, like you get a mix of like liberal people and like hippie dippy hipsters, but also like a lot of older people that were just like looking to get out of the house and stuff like that. So it feels like you get more of a mixed bag when you're doing independent shows, which I really like. But also wanted to ask, because aside from hosting a mic and aside from performing as a stand-up comedian, you also have produced shows as well. So as a show producer, like what are some of like the challenges that you run into whenever you're building a show?
Learning what it's like to run a show. I had no idea how annoying I was before I was a host. Accommodating people calling out last second. I have learned to always have, if 2 or 3 people can't show up, who will I call?
Okay. Yeah.
I've learned that.
Interesting. Okay.
I've had to learn that.
Yeah. Because it does happen, for sure.
And for legit reasons.
Yeah.
And
usually it's stuff like people calling out because they got sick or like car accident, family emergency. Absolutely.
Or like my car broke down, or my foot got cut off. And you're like, oh, well, where are you?
Yeah, and where's your foot? Yeah, absolutely. As a show producer, when you're building a show and you're trying to figure out what comics you want to book, like what are some of the things that you're taking into consideration when you're building that?
I'd like to see who is doing good material at my mic. If you're making people laugh at my mic, I'm going to be more likely to book you. Also, when I do shows with other comedians, and I'm very impressed, but I try and do a range of people. Like, I understand now also, if I don't get rebooked right away, I understand now that I'm booked, now that I run a show, I'm booked like 8 months in advance.
Yes. Yeah.
Just because there's only like so many slots and there's so many good comedians. And so I've had people ask me like, why didn't you book me? And I'm like, I literally am like, well, we're into 2027 now. Like, we gotta. So, and now I'm like, I don't bother people like, why didn't you book me? It's like, nope, you're busy. You're busy. I no longer doubt myself. I used to really be like, it's because I'm not funny. Like,
interesting. Yeah.
So now I'm like, I'm confident, regardless of what I get on, I will do a good job because I'm a good comedian.
Yeah. I think there's been a few times I've come up to you as a baby like comedian just starting out being like, hey, I'm like struggling with like confidence issues, or like I don't know that like this is working, or what if I'm not funny? Like I feel like I've oftentimes like reached out to you for advice or insight on like how to kind of hold on to that confidence even when it feels a little bit shaky. Like what are some of like your secrets as far as like?
Well, your perspective is the most interesting thing about you. I like to compare it to visual art. The most interesting about your art is that it looks like you drew it. And I think that's what people hate about it.
Yeah.
It sounds like Nicole wrote it is the most powerful thing you can do.
Yeah.
So the more honest you are, the more powerful you will be. I am very honest on stage, and I think that's my power. And it's not, because I used to not feel very confident in my body, and I was like, I'm not pretty enough to be a stand-up. But stand-up ain't about pretty. It's not about status. It's about funny.
Right.
And I got funny down, and you got funny down, so just keep being yourself and keep being funny.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something a lot of female comedians struggle with more, because I don't ever hear a male comedian go like, I'm ugly, so I can't be funny. Like, there aren't very many things that hinder them.
They're more egotistical.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely. So, as someone who's been doing this for 10 years, what are like a handful of pieces of advice you might give to like, let's say like you 10 years ago first starting out doing stand-up?
I should have been recording myself. I should have been like, it doesn't matter how you feel about your body. what are you doing with your hands? What are you doing with your mic? What are you doing with the lighting? You know, I should have known that footage would have been a big deal now.
Yeah.
And I'm not terrible at it, but I could be better if I had started young and watched my jokes a little more critically and listened to what audience said. I wish I had been a little more critical about the objectiveness of what I don't decide what's funny. The crowd decides. You listen to your joke, and if you hear laughs, wow, amazing, you did it. Like,
right, yes.
But I don't get to decide what's funny.
Yeah.
But that gets difficult too, because something might not be funny right away, but it'll be funny later. So that's where you have to kind of bring in the writing part, where you're like, oh, okay, well, did I say exactly what I wanted to say? Did I show them exactly? Did they feel? Because sometimes people have told me, Gayle, you inspired disgust, not funny. Like, or you inspired sadness. Like, you have inspired something as the magician you are, but I'm not laughing. I'm worried.
Right, yes. Yeah,
so then you're like, oh, like, I gotta tailor it a little more to fit the box of funny.
Right.
This is the funny box. Sometimes we write stuff over here, down here. Like,
yeah, absolutely. And so on that note about writing, I wanted to ask, like, what's your approach to writing? Do you try to write every day? Do you try to, like, rework certain jokes every week? Or what's your process?
I try to write a joke down every day.
Okay.
I try, because I've been following Scott Dickers. He was the inventor of The Onion. And he has a lot of free opportunities to learn about writing and comedy. And so, he suggested try writing 10 jokes a day. And they don't have to necessarily be good jokes, but you're going to write jokes.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, you can go back and pick the best ones.
Yeah.
And then that is going to be your good material.
Yeah.
It's always good to pick a little bit out of a lot than to have a little and not have much to pick from.
Right.
That's been huge.
Yeah.
It's been a game changer for me on not running out of material.
Yeah.
And writing, even when I'm like, or even when someone says, oh my God, that'd be so funny, bitch, write it down.
Right.
You already have like a little, like, sometimes people are often wrong, but you
never know.
Yeah, 5 minutes is a lot of time to fill with just jokes, in my opinion.
Very true. Very true. I think, like, when me and Carol and Joy and Charlotte, like, first started doing comedy, we very much approached it almost like a coven or like a gang. Like, we would go to mics together, we would try to write together, but we also kind of had this habit with each other hanging out where if somebody said something funny, we would, like, bully each other to be like, write that shit down. Write it down right now. Like, I'm going to text it to you if you don't write it down right now. Like, I think we all really tried to instill in each other, like, writing as much as we could.
I love your approach of because I was just a little bit more of a lone wolf. Actually, I had someone tell me, what did this guy, it's the only time I was called a bitch and I'm okay with it. You show up, a lot of people need to show up in big groups to mics, but you show up by yourself and that's what makes you an alpha bitch.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very sweet.
It's very true.
Thank you. Well, I think my process of writing jokes is lonely.
Yeah.
For me, I don't write in big groups.
Yeah.
When I have a big group of writers, I already have jokes prepared, but I don't write jokes with others.
Yes, yeah.
I write jokes by myself. I feel the same way about learning music, playing the French horn.
Right.
You know, improv was like my first collaborative art.
Yeah.
Where I can't do improv literally can't do improv by myself.
Right.
You need others.
Yes.
By definition.
Yes. You need, like, suggestions, or you need someone to play off.
You need friends.
Yeah.
You can't improv. You can't be like, can I get a suggestion? And then improv with your nobody.
Yeah. So that being said, I met you first through improv. And then I saw you do stand-up second. So obviously between the two, you have a favorite or one that you prefer doing, which is stand-up, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I am better at it.
Okay.
I don't necessarily like it more. I love improv, but I'm not social enough for it, and I'm okay at it. I don't think I'm a stronger, in my opinion, I'm a stronger stand-up than I am improver.
Interesting.
For me. But I've only did improv 2 years. I've done stand-up 10 years.
Right.
So maybe if I did 8 more years of improv, it would be equal. But I hate to talk about money, but I make a lot more money.
It's true.
Like, I make a lot more money doing stand-up stand-up. So I think I'm a better stand-up than improver. But I'm an English major, so I learned how to script well.
Yes.
And improv, you can't script. It really made me challenge my weaknesses. Staying present, listening, and performing are not my strengths. I had to learn them.
Yeah.
But sitting alone and writing and being funny, I could do it all day.
Yeah. Would you say that like other stand-up comedians would benefit from taking an improv class or taking some improv training, or do you think that it would kind of impede their like stand-up kind of approach?
I don't think it caused any harm. I definitely think it would either have no benefit or a lot of benefit, but it certainly wouldn't send anyone backwards trying something new.
Yeah.
I think it would be beneficial learning to listen.
Yeah.
Because you do have to listen to your audience. They just can't talk to you directly when you're a stand-up.
Yeah.
I mean, they can. I know that we've moved into crowd work, but it's honestly a very silent thing that they do.
It is.
But it's very telling.
Yes.
Silent but telling.
Yes.
You know when they like you. You feel when they don't like you. It's one of the only things I trust.
True.
It's when a crowd doesn't like me, I trust that.
Yeah, definitely.
But improvers, it seems like they're a lot easier to if they don't like you, you can win them over a little easier.
Yeah, I would say that I definitely feel like improv as a community and improv audience members generally are a lot, it's just a very positive and supportive environment. The stand-up community can feel a little bit antisocial.
Yeah, it definitely by comparison, because you have people that obviously show up, do their thing, and leave.
Yes.
And you can't really do that with improv. You can't show up, do a couple of scenes, and bolt.
Right.
But in stand-up, it is a lot lonelier, I think.
Yeah.
It doesn't require, because you don't need friends.
Right.
You only need an audience.
Yes.
So that's where I think, but what sucks on the other side of that, the community is why I'm good, and the community is why I've grown, and Charlotte comedy has been so good to me. I contributed to my success.
Yeah, me too.
So I guess I take it back. You do need a community to do well.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily need one to be a mediocre comedian.
True. I would say there's this phrase that comes to mind that's like, if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you go together kind of thing.
That's lovely.
I think that like a community does really uplift each other. And it takes a minute, I think, to get the community to warm up to you or to like suss you out. But like once you're in, you're in.
In Memphis, everyone was very welcoming. It was women, a lot of women ran shit, and they're the ones who booked me.
Yeah.
So that was luckily where I got to start, and that's where I learned how to ask questions, what a circuit is.
Yeah.
You know, what they taught me that's really valuable is you always ask for pay. Not always ask for pay. You always ask what the pay is.
Yes.
If they tell you, I'm not going to pay you, that's fine. You can work for free.
Right.
But you always ask if there's money. And if they get, I'm mad you asked about that, you do not work with them.
What would success look like to you, or what does success look like to you as a stand-up comedian?
I think there's a fun mixture of feeling the laughs get bigger. I have to let my jokes breathe. That's new. My jokes are so funny, I can't keep talking.
Yeah.
I have to stop and wait.
Yeah.
And that is incredible.
Yeah.
And there's like applause breaks, and the laughs are so big. People don't expect to like me. And it's so funny when they do, and they're just like, like,
I love when you get the like, you were actually really good.
Yeah,
and it's like,
oh wow,
I know.
I actually enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Like, you should have expected to enjoy a pitch. Like, I got one skill set, okay? It's being a little clown going whap, 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 whap. Like,
thank you so much for meeting with me and hanging out with me.
Thank you, Nicole.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
Oh my goodness.